The Dead Sea, located at the lowest point on Earth, is a natural wonder with a unique ecology, spectacular desert views, and mineral treasures that have drawn people for thousands of years. It is the world's deepest hypersaline lake and is located in the desert of southern Israel. The Dead Sea is a salt lake in southern Israel's Judean desert, bordered to the east by Jordan. It is one of the world's saltiest bodies of water and the lowest point on the Earth. The landscape of the Dead Sea has evolved little through time, and it is now 50 kilometers long and 15 kilometers broad at its widest point. It is approximately 380 meters deep and holds around 40 billion gallons of water. The Dead Sea is located at the lowest point on Earth, which is assumed to be the consequence of volcanic activities that cause the land to descend continuously. It is one of the world's 4 saltiest bodies of water. These unique characteristics are the result of its severe geomorphological structure and harsh desert environment. These cause frequent dramatic shifts, resulting in a landscape unlike any other in the world. Furthermore, the area's unique mineral richness of the air, soil, and water are widely famous for its therapeutic powers, as evidenced by the fact that it has been a health resort for thousands of years. There are several different explanations for the origin of the Dead Sea. The Jordan River Valley was frequently drowned by water from the Mediterranean Sea around 3.7 million years ago. The waters formed the Sedum Lagoon, which connected to the sea via what is now known as the Jezreel Valley. Later, some 2 million years ago, the ground between this lagoon and the Mediterranean water increased to the point that the sea could no longer flood the region, resulting in the formation of a landlocked lake. Shifts in tectonic plates caused the valley floor to rise and fall, and the harsh desert environment caused the lake to gradually evaporate and decrease until what was left was the Dead Sea with its low elevation some 70,000 years ago. The Jordan River was the sole significant water source pouring into the Dead Sea until the end of the 1960s, while there are minor periodic streams under and around the lake, generating pools and quicksand pits around its shores. After the waters of the Sea of Galilee were diverted, the sole incoming supply of water comes from sulfur springs and wastewater, as well as unusual drizzles and flash floods. It was once separated into 2 basins, but the surface decreased dramatically in the late 1970s, and the southern basin dried out. This fall has altered the look of the Dead Sea. Furthermore, the southern basin was finally separated into hundreds of enormous evaporation pools for salt extraction. To keep the southern basin moist, water is piped from the northern basin. The northern beaches are mud-filled, whilst the southern beaches have fascinating salt formations. Because of its extreme salinity and density, the water of the Dead Sea seems nearly greasy. Because the Dead Sea is a terminal lake with no natural outlet and is no longer supplied by the Jordan River and its tributaries, its water level is regulated by its balance. The amount of water entering it is less than the amount evacuated. The Dead Sea's water level has been rapidly falling at an annual pace of roughly 110 centimeters. This raises the question of whether the Dead Sea is drying up. The natural recession is caused mostly by evaporation under the harsh desert heat. But it is also affected by the fact that water is no longer pumped into the Dead Sea from old sources such as the Jordan River. Early versions into different languages retained the original name of Salt Sea, but by the Roman era, travelers to Judea began calling it the Dead Sea, since the waters were devoid of all living forms, whether plants or animals. Aquatic creatures like fish and plants simply cannot flourish in the Dead Sea's very salty climate, and it was called for the absence of animal and plant life. The water does, however, contain trace amounts of bacteria and microbial fungi. The surrounding area is likewise desolate due to the desert environment with a lack of vegetation and animals. The Jordan Rift Valley and its surroundings serve as a migration corridor for a variety of species, including storks and other birds of prey, as well as jungle cats, marsh frogs, toads, crabs, snails, and other water insects. Ibex, wolves, foxes, and hyenas live in the steep highlands surrounding the Dead Sea. Floating in the Dead Sea is one of the most popular tourist activities. Because of the high salt concentration, the water is denser than simple freshwater, which means our body weight is lighter, helping us to float. The Dead Sea's minerals and salts have drawn people for thousands of years, making it the world's first health resort going back to Herod's time. The Dead Sea's mud and salt have a high concentration of antibacterial elements, making it particularly effective for skin illnesses such as psoriasis and vitiligo. Covering the body with Dead Sea mud aids in the absorption of minerals into the skin. We know that the Dead Sea's high salinity causes the water to be viscous and greasy, making swimming in the Dead Sea feel like floating. The water temperature is pleasant all year, making it especially appealing to lie back and float on your back. It is completely safe if you follow a few basic guidelines. Keep hydrated because the weather can be exceedingly dry and scorching. If you get water in your eyes or throat, you may have uncomfortable discomfort, so don't immerse your head in the water. Also, because of the extreme saline of the water, any wounds or scratches may cause discomfort. It's recommended to plunge intermittently for around 20 minutes. The Dead Sea's unique position, medicinal capabilities, geological and historical history, and surrounding ecology make it an appealing destination for travelers in the vicinity. But if you've had your fill of the sun and floating in the sea and are wondering what else to do in the Dead Sea, there are lots of other attractions nearby. Rent a bike and ride down the twisting route that runs along the beach. Get aboard a jeep for an adrenaline-pumping journey. Visit the neighboring Qumran Caves or Ein Springs for a natural stroll among hidden waterfalls. We frequently think of the Dead Sea as the lowest spot on the planet, but it has so much more to offer than that. Whether you're a history buff looking to walk in the footsteps of our forefathers, a nature lover looking for some stunning panoramas, or a seeker of the abundance of natural medicines afforded by its air, water, and mud, the Dead Sea may not be alive, but it's an experience you should have.